Food sufficiency for the government to scale up incentives for young farmers. Relief comes to victims of Benue communal clashes from Renewed Hope Initiative. Plus, push for humane treatment of child offenders progresses with new guidelines. Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komiakere. Musa Abaka will bring us updates from the business world. Musa, what's trending?
Equities market extend positive sentiments to Tuesday.
All right, many thanks, Musa. And Badi Adeleye will give us more insights to reactions from Nigerians regarding the Presidential Cash Award for the Super Falcons. Badi?
Well, allegedly, Nigerians have been applauding the president's gesture, hoping it marks a new era of recognition for national heroes.
All right, many thanks, Badi. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. The Nigerian government has unveiled a 10-year strategic action plan 2026 to 2036 to transform its agricultural sector at the ongoing UN Food System Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the event emphasized that the youth-led innovation will be central to the country's food systems transition initiative. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The 10-year strategic plan is part of Nigeria's national strategy to implement the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Programme, Kampala Declaration 2026 to 2036, adopted by African heads of state to strengthen food and nutrition security across the continent. Vice President Kashim Shettima emphasized the importance of investing in young people to drive innovation and resilience across food systems.
But Nigeria is not a nation of victims. We are a nation of visionaries. And our strategy is to turn adversity into advantage. We are optimistic about the future because we possess 70.8 million hectares of agricultural land, yet less than half is cultivated. We have 230 billion cubic meters of fresh water and rainfall patterns that favor climate-resilient farming across 2/3 of our territory. This is not just capacity, it is destiny. Yet we know that destiny must be financed. We are rethinking the way we finance food, and so we are unlocking access to credit and de-risking agriculture for banks. But we are not stopping at tradition. We are embracing disruption.
The Vice President also noted that the federal government has recapitalized the Bank of Agriculture with 1.5 trillion naira to support the youth agricultural revolution in Nigeria, providing loans of 1 million naira to young farmers and agro groups across the country, among several ongoing initiatives. The 10-year action plan will prioritize training and mentorship in agro-technology and agribusiness with a strong monitoring and evaluation framework. Meanwhile, the Vice President also addressed the plenary session on transforming food systems in complex settings, where he disclosed that Nigeria has already committed $538.05 million to the first phase of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones Program. United Nations Secretary General Amina Mohammed decried worsening global food insecurity, noting that an estimated 37 million children under 5 who faced acute malnutrition this year are almost the entire population of Canada.
Of those, nearly 10 million will suffer severe wasting, the deadliest form of undernutrition. In many countries facing the greatest challenges, courage is on display at this moment. But we must ensure that courage is matched with long-term solutions that can result in resilience and sustainability.
She commended leaders, including President Tinubu, who are embedding resilience in national strategies, combining global, digital, and traditional knowledge to create inclusive and sustainable food systems. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
And meanwhile, Nigeria is committed to scaling incentives for farmers, particularly the youth in agriculture. Vice President Kashim Shettima made the commitment of the ongoing United Nations Food Summit at a time young Nigerian farmers are being celebrated on the global stage in Addis Ababa. Benny Adams reports.
Ensure that food systems are working for everyone everywhere.
From the conversations among global leaders, policymakers, industry players and activists at the ongoing Food System Summit here in Addis Ababa, the message is clear. The world is hungry and the solutions are not arriving fast enough. For Amina Mohammed, the summit is not just about statistics. It is about the countless smallholder farmers across Africa whose harvests are affected by droughts or swept away by floods. They are victims of a climate crisis they did not create. All this is an inspiring story of young Africans making impact in creating sustainable food systems. Amongst them are Nigerians.
And in mechanization, I've been making a lot of impact to my community. I service smallholders farm over 500 hectares in a season, which is very big.
And sometimes I get supplies from the office of over 10 to 20 million. That they
do a research, consistent research to understand how customer dynamics like what they want, and then we go back to create that magic.
We are involved in the whole value chain of rice, cassava, and then we've mainstreamed nutrition into it. So we are promoting orange flesh sweet potato, provitamin A, cassava. We are doing home gardening.
In all, stakeholders stress the critical need to unlock domestic resources, mobilize the vast potential of the private sector, and reform the global financial architecture that often leaves the most vulnerable nations drowning in debts, unable to invest in their own food security. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has donated a sum of 1 billion naira to victims of communal clashes in Benue State. She made the donation on behalf of Renewed Hope Initiative in Makadi during a condolence visit to the state. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
In a timeline spanning many years, grim pictures that left anguish in the hearts of many around the world emerged from different parts of Benue State, following incessant attacks on several communities by bandits. Apart from having to deal with the loss of loved ones, survivors, many of whom now live in IDP camps, are also hard-pressed to eke out meaningful living. Identifying with their plight as the mother of the nation, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is here to strengthen the hands of the victims, bearing Renewed Hope Initiative's relief materials, along with a check sum of 1 billion naira, which she presented to the state governor, Hyacinth Alia.
When we have conflict like this, the lives of children are disrupted. They can't go to school. We have enough of children that are out of school, that we are even trying to see what to do as a nation. We have enough of that already. We should add to that and begin to breed children who are half-educated. So for our children to go back to the school, my appeal that whatever we have brought here from the Renewed Hope Initiative, that we pray that it will help those in IDPs to be able to build back their life again.
As the food basket of the nation, Benue State, she notes, is naturally positioned to contribute to national prosperity, but has been drawn back by needless killings. She says enough is enough.
When there are situations like this, we have to embrace dialogue. Patience are always the best solution rather than violence. The way to peace is the way of love, and love is the greatest power on earth. Despite it suffers long, it conquers all things.
The Benue State Governor received the donation on behalf of the displaced families and applauded the First Lady for her commitment to national solidarity.
Has been talking about ranching, and for us, the state taking advantage of this misfortune of ours, May you also add your voice in speaking to all of us. Our prayers are let the killer-headed terrorists be flushed out of Benue State and other neighboring states, and everything be done to give us peace in Benue State.
The visit of the First Lady is sequel to an earlier condolence visit by President Bola Tinubu to the state. From Makurdi, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
And meanwhile, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has extended support to vulnerable groups and persons living with disabilities in Kaduna State. The initiative is part of the Tinubu administration's efforts to uplift the less privileged and ensure that no Nigerian is left behind, regardless of physical ability or social status. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the First Lady was represented by the wife of the Vice President.
It's another round of support from the Office of the First Lady to vulnerable families and persons living with disabilities who gathered here to receive these food items. The wife of the Vice President, accompanied by the wife of the Kaduna State Governor Hafsat Ubasani, arrived at the venue with warm smiles to personally distribute the items on behalf of the First Lady.
Our goal at the Renewed Hope Initiative is to complement the Renewed Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR by ensuring that all Nigerians, regardless of status or condition, are supported to strive and achieve their full potentials. In 2024, under our Economic Empowerment Scope, we disbursed grants of 50,000 naira each to 1,000 women petty traders in every state and the Federal Capital Territory.
Our special commendation and gratitude goes to Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu for her unrelenting commitment to the upliftment of the condition of the poor and the vulnerable in Nigeria.
The beneficiaries, many of them who had previously received similar support from the First Lady, expressed satisfaction for the continued care.
As a person with disability, this is time of inclusion. This inclusion is very important for us. That is why we are very happy.
What has happened here today is a good omen in the development of Kaduna State in general, most especially when we are talking about the issue of inclusion.
This intervention is part of the Renewed Hope agenda of the First Lady, aimed at uplifting lives across the country. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
And the House of Representatives has reaffirmed commitments to the fight against corruption through legislations that will institutionalize accountability and transparency in governance. This was at a public hearing to investigate the activities of anti-corruption and transparency units in ministries, departments and agencies of government. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen reports.
To decentralize the operations of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, more than 500 anti-corruption and transparency units exist in federal ministries, departments and agencies of government to monitor and report corrupt practices. This investigative hearing reveals how their effectiveness is hampered by factors ranging from independence to funding and organizational support. There is advocacy for enabling laws to make the anti-corruption agencies and units effective.
To code of conduct and anti-corruption court, so that all anti-corruption matters will be brought before me, so that it will be an exemplary court of summary trial, so that I will be able to be given justice to whosoever is brought before me in not more than 2 sittings of my court.
Over time, we realized that some NDAs will fall into social compliance while the NDA is not effective.
It is paramount that we investigate and assess whether these units are truly fulfilling their mandate or if they have regrettably become extinct in very practices that they were created to eradicate.
Meanwhile, the Youth in Parliament Forum is spearheading what it calls a Take Action campaign to sensitize and empower young Nigerians to take up leadership roles in politics and public service.
Let's take action. Let's criticize constructively.
And ultimately facilitate the election of young legislators into the states and national assemblies.
The forum urges youth to get involved in reforms to shape Nigeria's political future. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Although engaging in criminal activity does not pay, nevertheless, a lot of people get involved in it, including minors. This shows up the challenge of how to handle the peculiar situation of children who come in contact with the law. Olabode Ariwa reports that Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice unveils 2 guidelines for such cases.
Though a minor, young Ibrahim Mamisu was caught as a petty thief on the streets. He was prosecuted under the regulations on dealing with underage offenders. These guidelines have now been concretized and codified as legal aid guidelines for children in contact with the law in Nigeria. A set of prosecution guidelines for cases involving such children was also unveiled.
These guidelines represent a major stride in institutionalizing a justice system that recognizes the distinct circumstances, vulnerabilities, and needs of children.
Under the Child Rights Act, Criminal Justice Act of 2015, and other related statutes, every child who comes into contact with the law, either as an offender or as a victim, is entitled to humane treatment.
It's critical. Prosecutors, legal aid offenders, social workers, and judicial actors must be equipped with the knowledge and tools to operationalize these guidelines in every case involving a child.
A report unveiled last year by UNICEF indicates that 78% of children who come in contact with the law usually lack access to legal aid. Olabode Ariwa, NTA News.
You're watching the network news. Thanks for being there. Now to security matters. The anti-kidnapping cell in the Counterterrorism Center now has more state commands to coordinate grassroots efforts. National Coordinator, Counterterrorism Center Major General Adamu Laka says the expansion is to streamline efforts in curbing kidnapping. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The National Counter-Terrorism Center in the Office of the National Security Advisor is scaling efforts to curb kidnapping, a threat to national security. Reports from the center have shown that Kaduna, Katsina and Zamfara have recorded an increase in kidnapping incidents.
Nigerian aid workers that were kidnapped, we've rescued some that were working for UNICEF.
In response to this, the center is establishing state commands to complement efforts of the anti-kidnapping cell, domiciled in the Counter-Terrorism Center in Abuja.
While national coordination is crucial, state-level engagement is indispensable. This assists in building direct operational linkages between the cell and state commands across the country.
This multi-agency initiative, in collaboration with the UK's National Crime Agency, aims to dismantle kidnapping networks through real-time intelligence and coordinated rescue operations.
The role of the MAC-FC is to provide support to the Nigerian police force and the DSS kidnap response units in every state, and to collect, analyse and disseminate data to the NSA and provide information on kidnap incidents.
With the expansion of the anti-kidnapping cell, the Counter-Terrorism Center is optimistic it will tackle the ugly trend head-on. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Maintaining public safety and internal security must not be compromised by any personnel of the Nigeria Police Force. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun emphasized this at a crucial meeting with strategic police managers at the force headquarters, Abuja. Francis Pham reports.
In a decisive move to strengthen national security architecture, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, meets with top-ranking officers of the force, urging them to embrace innovation, integrity, and accountability in the discharge of their duties.
We must adapt, we must innovate, we must respond with agility, strategy, and unyielding commitment to the rule of law.
One major issue on the table is the welfare of retired police officers under the contributory pension scheme. The IGP describes their current condition as morally unacceptable.
I encourage you all strategic commanders to engage both serving and retired officers in your jurisdiction to sensitize them, on the ongoing effort of the First leadership in advocating for their welfare. Let them know that we are with them and the government is not neglecting them.
The IGP announces a new incentive. Any officer who wins the IGP award for exceptional professionalism 2 years in a row will now be qualified for accelerated promotion. Francis from NTA News.
And away from security matters, Department of Mass Communication, University of Maiduguri, in collaboration with the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters and the Association of Communication Scholars and Practitioners of Nigeria North-East Chapter, has held a one-day interactive session. The event aimed to equip students with modern technological skills in line with global media trends. Fatima Isa brings us the report.
The interactive session, chaired by Professor Umaru Alipati, Vice-Chancellor, Federal University Kashiri, and Chairman of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, focused on the importance of digital innovation and computer literacy in the field of mass communication. The session highlighted the broad and dynamic discipline of mass communication and the need for student adaptation to modern tools and technology to remain relevant.
The practice of journalism is continuously changing, and with the internet, information and communication technology changing, and the rise of AI, certainly the media landscape, not only in Nigeria, globally, is changing. And because of that, we must prepare our students to be able to understand these realities.
Vice-Chancellor, University of Maiduguri, Professor Laminu Mele, says plans are underway to establish a faculty of communication in recognition of the department's pivotal role in the modern broadcast industry.
We'll admit more students, as was said. Instead of just the 80, we have 80 maybe times 3 or times 4. After that, we'll have more specializations now, not only in traditional media, but in modern media of different types.
The session featured questions and answer segments where students interacted directly with Professor Patti. The guest speaker, Professor Patti, donated 20 laptop computers to the Department of Mass Communication as part of his support to digital literacy. In Maiduguri, Fatima Isa, NTA News.
In a bid to further boost agricultural development and rural empowerment, Yobe State Government has launched the 2025 Mega Agricultural Empowerment Program to enhance food production in the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
From tractors to fertilizers, motorized tillers to threshers, planters to improve seeds and agrochemicals, among others, the initiative represents a vital investment in the future of agriculture and empowerment tools for communities. Governor Buni, at the launching of the program, says the initiative is part of the state's agenda to reposition agricultural sector as a key driver of economic growth, rural development and poverty alleviation.
It is gratifying that the intervention by the state government last year has contributed tremendously to the increase in food production and economic empowerment of our people. Therefore, the government found it expedient to intensify this intervention to provide more support for more people to benefit and expand production.
Let me assure you, all these inputs under my custody will be distributed across the 178 wards of Yobe State.
This marks the second time the state has launched a massive agricultural investment in just 1 year, a strategic step the state is taking to enhance food security and boost self-sufficiency. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
The Africa Continental Free Trade Area Coordination Office in Nigeria has engaged prospective importers and exporters when the agreement is eventually domesticated in the country. Kunle Adeyeye reports that the conversation dwelt on trade facilitation and challenges of intra-African trade at a summit in Abuja.
Officers in charge of trade in Nigeria. The purpose is to prepare the grounds for the domestication of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement in Nigeria. Like many other African countries, Nigeria is signatory to the AFCFTA agreement. It's been 6 years now and legislative backing is eagerly awaited. But the prospective beneficiaries of these instruments, importers and exporters, will have to understand AFCFTA's rules and regulations, especially the rules of origin. The AFCFTA Coordination Office in Nigeria, the European Union, and the World Customs Organization are making this to happen. The question, however, is there hope in sight for its actualization, and will Nigeria cope with the operational dynamics?
Nothing is late when it comes to AFCFTA implementation. As we speak, we have gazetted the schedule of tariff concession. The Nigerian AFCFTA Coordination Office started the process.
The Nigerian Customs Service has taken strategic steps to support Nigerians' participation in the AFCFTA. Notably, the establishment of a dedicated export processing terminal at Lily Port, Apapa, Lagos.
We want to do more, so being here gives me an opportunity to understand how we can actually achieve that part of the goal, because we'll be selling domestically and we want to go international.
Other participants share Oluwaseun's sentiment, but add that intra-African trade could improve more than the current 20% share. Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
A delegation of stakeholders of northern extraction has emphasized the peaceful transition of power between the north and south as a strategy to sustain ongoing reforms in all sectors and promote unity in Nigeria. This was at an interactive session on government citizens' engagement by the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in Kaduna. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
In the year 2022 here in Ariwa House, Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation, like other forums, provided a platform for the presidential candidates ahead of the 2023 general election to showcase their agenda. As a follow-up, mid-term into its first-term mandate, stakeholders from the North and the federal government delegation are here to practically showcase and evaluate the short and medium-term achievements of the Renewed Hope agenda under President Bola Tinubu.
This aligns with the core mandate of the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation to champion quality leadership, good governance, and national development.
After elections, partisanship reduces. Unless you have something concrete and better than what the government is doing, and even that, we call it constructive criticism, not condemnation. We must therefore really work harder at organizing ourselves to benefit from the array of expertise available to northern Nigeria and to Nigeria at large.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, promised to remain focused in the days ahead.
And also appreciate the foundation's effort in deepening governance. Your work in education, healthcare, and agriculture has not gone unnoticed. In fact, engaging with the foundation has helped shape some government policies, such as the creation of the livestock ministry.
The support got across all government, irrespective of party affiliation. That is why today, I am not sure if there's any governor in Nigeria that can come out and say that he can go against the president, because the president is doing to us what no president of Nigeria have done for subnations.
I'm able to say that the evidence of progress is here, like I said, and with the new infrastructure projects which are coming up, including various interstate road networks, like the ambitious Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway.
Investing in human capital is at the core of our priorities. Government remains dedicated to revamping the education and healthcare systems and enhancing social welfare programs.
We have come here to lay down all those things that the president said he was going to do, where we are on those promises, and many of them have already been fulfilled. Many of them are still being awaited. Remember that this is just the midterm of the administration. We believe that by the time that the president ends his first term, we will have answered most of the questions that they have. We will have kept most of these promises. Already now, many of them have been kept. And you can see from the mood of the hall, almost everyone here is happy.
The two-day interactive session commenced with a panel discussion on security to enable participants to interrogate the electoral promises and foster citizens' engagement for national unity. In Kaduna, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now let's do some business with Musa Abubakar. Musa.
Today, let's begin with energy. Oil prices surged on Tuesday, building on Monday's gains as easing trade tensions between the United States and key partners lifted market sentiment. Added pressure from President Donald Trump on Russia over the Ukraine war also fueled concerns about supply disruptions. Brent crude futures rose by 95 cents or 1.36% to $70.99 a barrel, reaching the highest level since June 23rd. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude followed suit, climbing 1.48% to $67.70 per barrel. The rally reflects growing optimism over improving global trade dynamics and geopolitical risk that could tighten oil supply, particularly from Russia, one of the world's largest exporters. The Nigerian exchange wrapped up the day on a high as the bulls kept momentum strong and the market closed in positive territory. The all-share index rose to 137,912.87 points, driven by renewed investor confidence and strategic buying across key sectors. Trading was brisk with over 940 million shares exchanged in 8,358 deals valued at more than 30.63 billion naira. Market capitalization followed suit, climbing to 87.19 trillion naira. Top trades of the day were led by Fidelity Bank, which recorded the highest volume with over 111 million shares traded. It was followed closely by Royal Exchange at 74.1 million shares, Jaiz Bank with 60.9 million, and Universal Insurance trading 38.3 million shares. In the aggregate, 128 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending with 51 gainers and 25 losers. Analysts say the strong performance reflects growing interest in the financial services sector, especially mid-tier banks and insurance firms, on the back of impressive half-year results. With rising volumes and positive sentiment, all eyes are on the bulls, and for now, they are still running the show. Now, Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed Tuesday as investors awaited the outcome of the ongoing U.S.-China trade talks. Let's see global stocks. Well, that concludes business news. Let's join Adiola in Lagos for stories making the rounds from that zone. Adiola, it's over to you.
The National Credit Guarantee Company was created by the federal government as a catalyst for economic growth to transform businesses by providing world-class credit guarantee solutions to empower medium and small-scale enterprises and foster inclusive prosperity through a 60% risk-sharing framework. This was stated by the Chief Executive Officer of the company, Bonaventure Okaimo, at a stakeholders engagement in Lagos with a theme empowering credit guarantee through strategic partnerships. Amaka O reports.
The National Credit Guarantee Company was created with 100 billion naira initial capital to address limitations of access to credit by a large percentage of medium and small-scale enterprises that constitute 40% of the nation's economy.
This bold initiative reflects the administration's strong commitment to de-risking lending, promoting financial inclusion, and improving access to credit for micro, small, medium enterprises, local manufacturers, and credit consumers.
Key presentations centered on unlocking credit for Nigeria's industrial sector, a risk-sharing framework.
If industries, MSMEs that will create the jobs that we desperately need will be able to thrive, then we need to create an environment for long-term lending. And that is where the credit guarantee comes in here.
Value proposition of the National Credit Guarantee Company was highlighted as a scalable and sustainable initiative towards building a viable economy.
Our mission is even more urgent: to support economic growth by providing world-class credit guarantee solutions that empower enterprises and foster inclusive prosperity.
We are going to assess the risk of every project, the risk associated with each of the borrowers, to be able to determine what kind of support we need to give to them.
Conversations on fostering inclusive growth through credit guarantee for youth-owned businesses and MSMEs were captured by a panel of discussants. The National Credit Guarantee Company is seeking positive collaborations with development financial institutions to provide guarantee and the risk lending processes. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And talking health now. Over the years, Nigeria has employed a multi-dimensional approach in its fight against mother-to-child transmission of HIV, with positive results being recorded. Hingino John Adams reports that from 2010 to 2024, the graph has dropped by 62%.
Nigeria is committed to achieving the global target of ending HIV/AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. Part of strategies set up to tackle mother-to-child transmission ahead of the set deadline include increased access to testing and treatment for pregnant women, as well as provision of preventive treatment for newborns. The country's effort is yielding results, as data by UNICEF shows that the number of new infections among children under 5 have declined from 310,000 cases in 2010 to 120,000 in 2024. At the nation's Apex Medical Research Institute, one of the institutions that provide care for those living with HIV, the outcomes are encouraging.
In the last 4 years, no single mother who passed through the clinic have had a baby that HIV positive. It's showing that the most important is the drug, ensuring that every HIV positive mother swallows that drug.
Now that the graph shows a decline, experts believe empowering those living with the virus will go a long way in meeting the 2030 target.
HIV-infected patients who benefit from appropriate and timely treatment are estimated to have similar survival rate to HIV-uninfected patients.
Medical practitioners say ending mother-to-child transmission of HIV is achievable with continued efforts, commitment, and support for vulnerable groups. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And those are reports from Lagos. More news with Olajide in Abuja after this time.
Many thanks for being there. 22 lawmakers from the governing All Progressives Congress and one from the opposition Labour Party in Plateau State House of Assembly have paid a solidarity visit on the national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Ntawe Wapta. Political correspondent Abakar Kwanga reports that the national chairman also played host to a League of APC professionals.
It was a full house with only one member on the platform of the Young People's Party YPP out of the equation, but the 23 members said the solidarity for the success of the national chairman is overwhelming and top-notch. The members described the national chairman as a political strategist, a pillar of hope and positive transformation, whose impact will reposition the party for excellence. The national chairman outlined some of the major strides of the federal government in agriculture through the 1.5 trillion naira grant for farmers, student loan scheme, and several other quality infrastructure as key performance indicators.
start building the structure of Mr. President wins election from Plateau. I want our voices to be heard loud and clear across the country. I want our presence, our footprints to be seen everywhere. Let us be Plateau must be the star of Mr. President win election 2027.
From where you're coming from and where God has placed you today, honestly, we have every confidence that you are able to put everything, every challenges, every hurdles that will come your way, you will be able to marshal it, and APC will have victory come 2027.
Earlier, the national chairman received League of APC professionals where he assured that there are no vacancies for opposition and appreciated them for the massive support and solidarity and promised not to let them down in the new chapter of the party leadership. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
And I'm glad to know you're still there. To address present issues within the hospitality and tourism industry, focusing on professionalism and adherence to standards, the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism inaugurates a practitioners' disciplinary tribunal in Abuja. Glory Agbo reports.
Industry experts believe the inauguration of this tribunal is a crucial step towards maintaining high standards and promoting best practices within the hospitality and tourism sector. With Nigeria's growing tourism industry, such initiative is vital for its continued growth and global reputation.
It's shouldered with the responsibility to ensure standardization, registration of these organizations, how they operate without having injuries on their clients or customers, or the customers doing the reverse.
On the assumption of my office, we look at the instrument of the office. We realize that there's no way we can put a structure into that sector without having a proper tribunal. So it's a court for hospitality, tourism, and travel.
It is part of the transformational agenda of the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to see that we can transform the tourism sector and change the narratives.
If there's regulation, if there's standards, and you will be able to identify the real core tour operators, the practitioners, and will eliminate probably some of the bad eggs.
Infractions by some hotels and other hospitality operators have been an issue of concern to industry regulators, prompting government to institute this mechanism for restructuring the sector's standardization. In Abuja, Glory Agbo, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has approved the appointment of Abdulkadir Ibrahim Bello as the new Emir and Sarkin Katsina of Gusau Emirate. Abdulkadir Bello ascends the exalted throne as the 16th Emir of the Gusau Emirate Council following the passing of his father, Dr. Ibrahim Bello, on the 25th July 2025 after a decade of dedicated and dignified reign. The Secretary to the Zamfara State Government, Abubakar Mohammed, said the appointment was based on the recommendation of the Gusau Emirate kingmakers and in accordance with the established customs and relevant laws. The new Emir held the revered traditional title of Bunung Gusau before his appointment. And over now to Bade for Sport Update. Bade.
Many thanks, Olajide. And now, Nigeria and the African Union Sports Council Region 2 are set to benefit from deeper military sports collaboration following a strategic visit by the African Union Sports Council Secretary General Michael Shamsu Mustafa to OSMA President Major General Mekano Abdullahi in Abuja. The visit focused on launching joint military sports initiatives and formalizing cooperation to advance regional sports development. Mustafa hailed Nigeria's hosting of the African Union Sports Council Region 2 headquarters, while Major General Mekano described the move as a boost for continental sports unity.
We're looking at how sport can contribute to addressing certain social anomalies in our region, how we can protect our borders, how we can build resilient communities within these borders, and how we can foster integration.
We are having the same line of action of bringing peace and stability in our region. And wherever you have seen military men playing, football, basketball, the expectation of peace in that country is certain.
To football now, reactions are pouring in as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu rewards the Super Falcons for their historic 10th Women's Africa Cup of Nations title in Morocco. Each player got $100,000, with team officials getting $50,000. And of course, a three-bedroom apartment in Abuja and in national honor of the Officer of the Order of Niger. Nigerians are applauding the president's gesture, with many hoping it marks a new era of recognition for national heroes across sectors.
Encouragement to give our player that kind of support. I think those ladies try and then deserve to be given even more than that. But the president try. We really appreciate.
What I'm really expecting from the president is what the president did. He did work.
I'm happy for the ladies. It's good for them. They work for it.
Me, when I heard that they will be giving that amount of money, I'm not like, congratulations to them.
To a bit of tennis now, Emma Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz have been confirmed as wildcard entries in this year's US Open mixed doubles event, with Jack Draper and Venus Williams also set to play. In a bid to attract some of the sport's biggest names, the U.S. Tennis Association increased the prize money, switched mixed doubles from the same time as the singles and other doubles events to the week before the start of singles competition, and reduced the format to first to 4 games, with no ad scoring. The mixed doubles championship will take place on August the 19th and 20th, where $1 million in prize money is at stake for the winners. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's return to Olajide.
Many thanks, Bade, and that's it on the Network News. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.